Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to GFW. This is episode 31, an episode that will bring a lot of changes to this series, so I want to make sure I get through them right at the start. If you notice, I'm not even on Explosion yet. It'll happen in a bit, and you guys won't even see it, because what's going to happen is I'm going to change the format per the request of a comment. I did a Twitter poll asking people if they would rather just see 1 week per episode, or one episode where I would, put a whole month's worth of booking, show the exact same thing that I'd show. I'd show Impact segment by segment, go through, every Impact until the pay-per-view, basically showing a month's worth. Or if they would rather just keep it that way and changing the format into a month's worth of booking, 75% to 25%. So we're going to be doing that change. What that means, though, is that Explosion will no longer be shown, just because it doesn't really matter. It's a B show. It's a show where I just test out random matchups, random teams. Maybe I'll just gloss over it once in a while. But it won't be, every episode. This is what happened on Explosion. I won't be doing that. Bad news, though. We do have bad news. Davey Richards was injured. I'm not sure where. Probably Dragon Gate, I'd say. Let's see. Is there Davey Richards here? Yeah. There you go. In that match with Conan Santa Maria and that other person, don't know how to pronounce their names. He was injured, but we can perform surgery on him. Of course we will, because it is low risk. So it was a complete success. So from 5 months and 3 weeks he goes to 4 months. Now that does put a damper on my plans. Doesn't matter. I will be booking all the way to Lockdown, our next pay-per-view, and you'll be seeing the Impact until then. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, and on to the first Impact of this new format of the series. Let's get into what is 3 weeks before the pay-per-view. So let's get right into it. We open the show with Austin Aries launching the Open Challenge once more, the AA Grand Open Challenge to open the show. And who else to answer but Petey Williams, former X Division champion, not in this series, but in the past. Challenges for the Grand Championship for a 60 rating, but comes up short as Austin Aries makes defense number 5 of the GFW Grand Championship. And after the match, Jushin Liger once again coming out of the ring, and AA going away again. Just does not want to fight Jushin Liger, who is, awkwardly standing there till he realizes it's time to go. Then in the match that Rosemary decided would happen last week, Marty Bell defeated Jade. Jade seemed to be overselling a little bit. Jade somehow didn't, it didn't seem like she was actually getting attacked. It didn't seem like a proper match, and that's because it was a finger poke of doom type of situation. Marty Bell just booped Jade. Jade lied down. Marty Bell won, and the dollhouse taunts Rosemary with the fact that they outsmarted her. So at Lockdown, it seems to me that it'll be Marty Bell versus Rosemary. Then we have a High Impact in the backstage area, basically saying we lost to I believe LAX. They lost to LAX last week. We lost the World Championships to Golden Lovers. We haven't gotten a single win since then. Maybe we're just not cutting it as a team, And Johnny Impact decides that is silly talk, and that he'll prove that they are still really good competitors, and he'll prove that by facing Tyrus next. Tyrus beats Johnny Impact by submission with a Tongan death grip after Moose Maryland runs in and accidentally hits Johnny Impact. Then we have a segment saying that Jimmy Havoc and Abyss, the Broken, are sick of LAX. LAX is all everybody talks about. They're the new power stable. Everybody's talking about LAX. Everybody wants to know what Conan is doing, what Dark Pentagon is doing. Well, if you want to know what Dark Pentagon is doing, he'll be facing me tonight and putting his X Division Championship on the line. Dark Pentagon agrees to this, but Jimmy Havoc will have to put his career on the line. So it'll be title versus career. X Division versus Havoc in the main event of Impact. Then a decent match. Dark Pentagon defeats Jimmy Havoc in 1751 with La Lanza, making defense number 11 of his X Division Championship and ending Jimmy Havoc's GFW career. What a dick. Then we have LAX beat down Jimmy Havoc just to really rub it in that he lost. He is a loser. He did the things that the losers do, which is lose. But the cavalry comes. Yeah, the cavalry comes in. They get beaten down as well. Ethan Carter III, Lashley, and Moose. That was supposed to be Abyss. That was supposed to be Abyss right there. My bad. So those three get beaten down as well. Abyss didn't, apparently. And in the closing moments of the show, Conan challenges Ethan Carter III. If he really wants to, be the defender, of everything. He tried to defend Jimmy Havoc. How about he tries to defend his global heavyweight championship at Lockdown against El Hijo del Fantasma? And we end the show on that note. 78. Not our best rating, but maybe next show will be that. We're gonna make a quick jump cut, and when we come back, it'll be the next Impact. So I'll see you then. And we're back, but before we get into the show, I'd just like to say that rather than do an entire month's worth of booking, I've just found out that is actually mentally draining. It's tiring. I'll be doing half a month's worth of booking, so 2 weeks. On occasions that there's a pay-per-view, it'll be 2 TV shows and the pay-per-view. On occasions that there's not a pay-per-view, it's just the 2 TV shows, the 2 Impacts. Also, because of Pentagon's injury, he'll be out for quite some time. We've decided to go the WWE approach on this and just not address him while he's injured. We're not going to talk about it, and just when he comes back, which will be soon, he'll be back. So let's get into this Impact. This is, so next week's the Go Home show and the pay-per-view. So next episode should be the Go Home show and the pay-per-view. But that's the next episode, because for this episode, pardon me, last show of the episode, we open with Ethan Carter III agreeing to face El Hijo del Fantasma at Lockdown. So we have that match booked. Then Austin Aries Open Challenge, the Grand Open Challenge once more. This time Braxton Sutter is the one losing. Defense number 6 of the Grand Championship for Austin Aries has been made. Liger comes out. Double A tries to avoid him, but before he can, Sting corners him, so there's Liger in the ring. Aries going up the ramp. Sting comes out to the entranceway and says, "There's a lot of money in this match, and if there's one thing that companies like, it's money." So at Lockdown, it'll be Double A Austin Aries versus Jushin Liger, and to make sure that they can't go anywhere, it will be a cage match. Then we have have LAX defeat Ohio versus everything. Rosemary's pissed off that Dollhouse pulled a fast one on her and says, "That's not how this is gonna work. You don't outsmart me. You're getting outsmart because what you didn't expect is that I want to defend the championship tonight." And she does. Marty Bell really did not expect that. She wasn't prepared for it. So Rosemary gets the win over on Marty Bell. That's 2 members of the Dollhouse she's defeated. Seidel then says that he's going to avenge Johnny Impact's loss from last week. He's upset that his friend, his partner, lost to Tyrus. He's going to avenge him. He lost to the Tongan Death Grip as well, cleanly. No interference from Moose this time, but there is a run-in after the match. Moose Maryland runs out to attack Tyrus. Clearly these two have some bad blood. Sting comes out to tell them, "Hey, you guys can fight each other all you want, but only at lockdown, in a cage match to contain you two beasts. But until then, it is a no contact rule, but starting as soon as that bell rings at lockdown, it's showtime." That was bad. That was a bad impression. I'm sorry. Then in the main event, Abyss trying to avenge Jimmy Havoc's firing. Abyss, who was in a bit of a slump until Jimmy Havoc came about, is now pretty upset that his partner, his guide, has been fired. Abyss defeats Homicide with a shock treatment after Ethan Carter III distracts LAX. And then after the main event, Ethan Carter III decides that turnabout is fair play and attacks El Hijo del Fantasma, basically telling him, "Hey, I'm done with this shit. If you want to attack me every week, I'm going to attack you too. So you don't end the show with the championship over my head, like you've done so many times before." So Ethan Carter III now getting to the chance to pull a fast one on LAX. This is our first 80. This is our first 80. Now, did I overuse Sting? Maybe. But I have him. Might as well use him. Look at this 100. You know what this 100 says? It says I can use him more. So we have our first 80. It's the first time we've broken 70, so it's our best rating ever. Clickbait that title. And we are back. Alright, that took a little bit to load. But we're good now. Our TV rating is 0.64. James Storm and Austin Aries have signed touring deals with NJPW. That's fine. Tony Storm has been fired. I have no place for her in my women's division right now, but she's definitely someone that I want to sign in the future. You know what? Sure, I am a good giving person, so I'll give you that pay raise. We still have quite a ways to wait for these people to come back, so I'm pretty sure Dark Pentagon won't be back in time for lockdown, but if he is, then great. In the meantime, that'll do it for this episode, the first of this format. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, let me know what you think in the comments, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in whatever I upload next.